Alright, in this video I'm going to be covering Imperial Broccoli. Basically covering, there's different types of broccoli, and maybe give this Imperial Broccoli type maybe great for your location. So what is Imperial Broccoli? It is a F1 hybrid variety. It's developed by Cicada Seed Company. It produces tight, heads, which is what you want, which I'm going to cover a little bit in this video. It matures in 65 to 75 days from transplants, give or take. At the end of this video, I will kind of cover some, give you some tips with growing transplants, from seeds for broccoli. Some things I've learned along the way. It normally produces, it says around 6 to 8 inch heads, but this one is absolutely huge. Give or take, I'll let it get a little bit bigger than necessary, just to give you an example, but I'm going to give you an example of how large this head is. So, that's about 12 inches. We go this direction, pull that leaf down, more like 13, so let's say 12 by 12. That is a large head of broccoli, and I'm going to try to weigh it, but I don't know how well that's going to work, because it's going to be hard to get it on the little scale. So what else about Imperial Broccoli? Why would you want to grow it? So it's heat tolerant. Well, I think of it as it's warm temperature tolerant, not necessarily hot as heck tolerant. So it's an excellent variety for people who want something that will perform well in warmer days and longer day lengths. So I live in zone 8A, central part of North Carolina. It could be great to plant this as a transplant in early spring for a late spring to early summer harvest. It's not necessarily going to bolt in the summertime or even in the spring as those temperature fluctuations. It could also be good to put as a transplant until late summer for a late fall harvest. They can deal with that residual heat, and during the Northeast it may be something you could grow all year round through the summer. And it also needs warmer, longer days to help produce those denser, larger heads. It's not best for cold conditions. It is somewhat frost tolerant, but it's not like a super cold variety. It's really just not going to be happy. It's good for spring, basically like mid to late spring to early summer harvest, and early fall crops. Maybe late summer, late fall. It could even be potentially grown in the winter, in very south part of Florida. It has very good harvest length. So when you harvest this broccoli and you store it in the fridge, it keeps its shelf life in the fridge quite long. We've all seen broccoli that gets brown, kind of yellow in the grocery store, versus this maintains its color and texture a lot better. So anyway, there's a lot of different types of broccoli. There's dozens of different types. There's stuff that does really well in cold climates. There's stuff that's more geared towards warm temperatures. So, experiment with it. But I think Imperial has been a really good broccoli for me. For those, when you have those seasons where the spring bounces around a lot in temperatures, it doesn't necessarily. Now, one thing about Imperial broccoli, it's not the best side shoots. Some broccolis you'll cut this main head off and you'll get a lot of little side shoots. It'll still produce side shoots. It's just not a very aggressive side shooter. So you may just want to go ahead and remove that plant that's taking up all this space and go ahead and plant something else. Now, before we cut this head off and weigh it, let me get over transplants. So one of the big mistakes you can really make with broccoli transplants is having a grow light too far away from them. You don't want this to get thin and that little transplant really reaching for the light, because if they have a really thin base and you plant them in the ground, their chance of success goes way down. You want more robust looking transplants, which you can get in about 4 to 6 weeks. So put your broccoli seeds in the ground. In your pot, your seed starting tray. They love a heating mat. Put a cheap little heating mat and get on Amazon. $10 for one, $20 for a 2-pack. They're running about 20 watts of energy, so they really don't use much energy at all. Put a little dome over it, keep it well watered. Within I've had broccoli sprout up in 3 days. So within 5 to 7 days, they should all be up. And at that point, go ahead and get that dome off of it. Go ahead and get that grow light as close to the transplant as you can without, burning them. Obviously, you have to know the type of grow light you're using. Or is your grow light put a lot of heat, or is it an LED type that's a lot cooler? But you really want to get that grow light close to it because you don't want it to stretch. You want it to beef itself up. Because if it does, you'll end up with this really thin stem at the bottom. The plant's going to perform terribly and may just die. So after about 4 to 6 weeks, you can get that in the ground. And then from that point on, you're looking at around about 60 to potentially 70 plus days for harvest. Just depends on, obviously a variable of conditions. So typically when you harvest broccoli, you go about 4 to maybe 6 inches below the head to the stem. Normally I would just use a pair of shears, but this thing is huge. You'll see it when I cut it. So I got this little saw guy. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of these leaves out of the way, because like I said, I'm going to get this plant out of here anyway, because I want to plant some soybean seeds in here. So my goal is to get the head like that. So what we're going to do, because we don't want to have these leaves contribute to the weight, let's snap those off. In there, let's see if we can zoom out here. So there's your broccoli head. So let's weigh it. Now this one, like I said, ideally I would have probably picked this a few days earlier, maybe several days earlier. As soon as you start to see the head want to loosen up a little bit, which this one is doing, that's when you want to pick it. We still don't have any yellow, so nothing's opened up yet. So let's see if I can weigh this guy. I think this. So we got about 2.3 pounds. I'm going to try that on a hard surface. See what we have. So we got 2.3 pounds. That's pretty impressive off one broccoli head. Now let's look at this smaller guy so you can get an example of a tighter head. So if you look at that one, that head's a lot tighter. It hasn't started to open up yet. That's more what you should expect size-wise too. This is a more normal size. That one has just got absolutely huge, and it has started to loosen up a little bit, but it'll be just fine. And you can kind of just see how big this plant is. But anyway, so that kind of just gives you a glimpse of broccoli. There's a lot of types of broccoli to grow. This may be a variety for you. If you're curious, we'll finish this video off with this, of how deep these root systems can get. So there you go. Nice big root system. Nice big plant. And once this other stuff gets out of here, we got this broccoli plant that still hasn't developed. Haven't got this other one. This is going to be all soybean seeds, which we already have soybean here in the center, and of course snap peas across the back. But anyway, hopefully this video helps you realize there's different types of stuff you can grow out there. Until next time, I hope y'all have a good day.